bum, 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 bum. Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Yay. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1549. Shake it up. So, what have you done today to shake it up? I have had an awesome day. But first of all, we're going to talk about why you should shake things up. Shaking up helps with creativity. It really does. It's one of those things that, if you shake it up, you're out of the routine and your body's like, whoa, hang on a second. There's something different here. Not sure if I like it or not, but we're going to explore it a little more. So when you shake things up, you can become more creative because you're doing something out of the norm. It's like, it can, and this will feel really, really weird. But if you normally fold your arms like this, try doing it the other way around. How does it feel? It's a little crazy, I know. If you put your pants on right leg first, then your left leg, try left leg first, then your right leg. It feels weird. If you drive to work a certain route, change the route. Today I had the awesome opportunity to go and attend the Home and Health Expo that was held out in Sun City Festival this weekend at their community. That was a gorgeous community center. I didn't get to see all of it, but what I did get to see was just absolutely amazing. It was awesome. And I was helping my friend Eileen on her booth for the super patch. Yes, we have the super. This is Liberty, the balance and movement. This is Defend for immunity and allergies. And then on the back here, you can see I have Flow. And flow is for paying attention. I know, I need that sometimes. So I haven't worked a booth at an event for, jeepers, when was the last time? Not while I've been in Sparkles. So we're going back at least 4 years. It's been a few years since I last worked a booth. So it took me a little bit to get back into it. But I had a lot of fun. I had one of my Sparkle shirts on. I had my Sparkle shoes on. I was in Sparkle mode. It was awesome. It was amazing. And it was something completely different that, like I said, I haven't done it in years. So Brad's been gone 6 years. So it's probably been maybe 7 or 8 years since I last was at an expo at some event where I was working a booth. So it took a while for the skills to come back again. And the body kind of got a shock because we were standing for 4 hours. But it was good. I got to meet so many amazing people today. Some people were just, and some people had Sparkle shirts on. Of course, anybody wearing any bling, they got called out on being sparkly. And I got to meet some amazing people. I had this one woman came and she had this gorgeous necklace on. It had a piece that went across, that went just straight across. Then there was the chain that went up and she had matching earrings. And I said to her, I love your necklace. And you've got matching earrings. And she was like, yes, I made them. And I said, is that done with glass where you put it in the high heat and stuff? She goes, yes. And I said, those are just amazing because the colors were just beautiful. If you've ever seen those pieces of glass jewelry that they make where they somehow put the glass together and then they do this high heat thing where all the glass melts and bonds together, you get some incredible designs that come out of that. So it was really cool to see a piece like that. And there were some characters there. There were some very interesting characters as well. But I was just getting out and just talking with people again. And I'm not one that likes crowds. I know. I don't like crowds. I'm an outgoing introvert. It was a little stressful with the crowds around, and I just wanted to go and sit back behind the table, but I made myself stand up there at the front of the table, because I knew that's where I needed to be, because you can't talk to people if you're sitting behind a table. So I've always been taught that at booths, you got to get out in front of the displays and things. But once I got talking to people, it was really, really cool. And I felt like I'd come home in a way, even though I don't like crowds. But it was really, really cool. And being able to demonstrate on people how quickly these patches work, and seeing the look of awe That's not Zeffy. Zeffy's still at the dog sitters. I just wondered what the noise was. Seeing that look of awe on their face when we do the demo at first, and then we put a patch on them and show them the difference pre-patch, after the patch, and the difference is night and day. And to see the looks on these people's faces was just amazing. They couldn't quite believe it. So got some good leads out of it. Even sold some product while I was there. And so now it's the follow-up. It's doing all the follow-up, but it was really cool. It was something different, something completely different that, like I said, I haven't done in at least 7 years, maybe longer. But yeah, I sort of really can't wait for the next the next time I get to go do something like that. So we're going to see what else we can get into and what other mischief I can get up to with that. But it was really cool, and it's just making those small changes. That was a big change, yes. But I wasn't working the booth by myself. I had my friend Eileen asked me to come, invited me to come with her, and so I did, and we just had fun. We really did. It was a lot of fun, and so that's kind of got me thinking about what else can I do with these patches, because I love these patches. They're awesome. They're completely drug-free. Yes, no drugs. People kept asking, well, has it got CBD in it? Yeah, no. No CBD, no chemicals that can be absorbed by the skin or anything like that. So each one just has different patterns on them. I don't know if you can see these very well on the camera, but each one has, different colors, different patterns. And those patterns are what sends the signal. When they touch the skin, it sends the signal to the brain to tell it needs to reset certain areas of the brain for different things. So, and also because I was listening and learning from Eileen, I got to hear some amazing stories about how well these patches work. So it was really, really cool. But other reasons you want to change things up again. How can you change things up? Drive a different direction to and from work. That's one of the easiest ones to do. And where I had to go, normally I would have gotten onto the 303, gone up there to Bell, got on Bell and gone west. Nope. I ended up going a different route, a route I'd never been before. And I thought, oh, well, this is good because this get on this road, it takes me all the way through the Bell. I don't have to go through the interchange there on the 303 and Bell. I don't have to worry about that. It skips that. And then I come across roadblock. They've closed the road off. First of all, my GPS tells me to take left out of the end of the street to get onto Waddell, and that's a right turn only. And I'm like, well, this is a really good GPS. Not. Then I go onto another road and it says, oh, just take this all the way through. But we get to, and I've got to go back and look again to see which GPS program it was using, because I have one that I prefer and it wasn't that one, which I really should have put it in, because that one will tell you when roads are closed, which ways to go and things like that. And so I got down to one area and it said the road's closed, so you're going to have to go, follow the detour, go left. And so I followed the detour lines and got out onto Bell Road and continued all the way, took that all the way through to Sun City Festival. And it was just a fabulous, fabulous morning. We're told that, setup is between 8:30 and 9:30. And the show opens at 10 o'clock, finish at 2. You're not to break down your booth no breaking down a booth before 2. Your breakdown is between 2 and 3. And all that. It was interesting to see how some people would, I didn't realize how early the first person left, but once one person broke down their booth and left, it started a chain reaction. And one of the organizers comes in, and there's 4 of us, and they were in this room, and we actually had the stage behind us, which was awesome. And we're inside the door there. We had the not far inside from the door where you come in, and we had the stage behind us, and there was 4 of us across 4 tables across the front of the stage there. And this guy one of the organizers comes in, and he's like looking around and going, and it's like 1:45, and he goes, you guys are troopers. He says, you're still here. Now, the booth next to us had taken down their backdrop. It was this massive backdrop. So they just quickly took it down, but left everything else on their table up. And he goes, you guys are troopers for staying right to the last minute. Well, what he did, I'm just sort of, and so we're sort of like, yeah, what is with that? He says, well, we're not really sure how we can make people stay. And I just looked at him and went, find them. He looks at me and goes, well, I says, you find them. I said, you tell them in the paperwork when they sign the agreement for the booth, you turn around and say, this is the breakdown time. If anybody breaks down before this time or leaves before that time, this is what it's going to cost you. And he's sort of like, you can't do that at a trade show. I said, why not? I said, some of the big trade shows that I've been to, the big travel shows and stuff, they turn around on their paperwork and it's in their documentation that if you leave, you get fined. And I said, those fines are not cheap. And he's like, really? I says, yeah, because people will get penalized for leaving. There's no penalty if they leave early. So, they're going to leave early. But if you make it that we want you there, if somebody comes in at 1:45, they need to be able to see the whole show, not just the 4 tables that were left. And so he kind of thought, well, that's kind of in it. So he was just like, But it's true. I have been to some big, huge travel shows, and it's written in the contract that if you start breaking down before the breakdown time, they fine you, because it's such a safety hazard. Because you start taking when you start packing up your booth and things, one, you're not giving those that come in at the last minute a fair chance. And the guy said something about that too. He says, somebody could come in and that could be the right person. And the guys in the booth next to us said, well, we just had somebody who just came in and they've booked an appointment to get their entire house, because they were doing blinds and shades for the house with remotes. And once their whole house done with windows, and we were like, yes, that's why you don't leave early. So if you work in a booth, be conscious of that. And also it could be a safety hazard, because if you're breaking down your booth, you could be getting into aisles. You could have stuff that's on the floor and the aisles that people could trip over and things like that. So be conscious of that. So other ways that you can shake up your day is learn a new skill. Learn a new skill. What's something that you've wanted to learn and not done? It could be deciding to do a staycation at home, traveling somewhere new, doing random acts of kindness. Sometimes doing a random act of kindness is, you might plan to go and do random acts of kindness just to see what's out there, but it's unexpected for the person who is receiving it, which makes it even better. Yes. Those things. Change your reading list. Swap out the genres that you normally read for something outside your comfort zone, or a genre that you don't normally read. And it's just, it inspires, mixing things up and doing things you haven't done before, or doing things you haven't done in a long time, can just actually create those little bits of inspiration and creativity and all sorts of wonderful things. Me shaking up my day, I came home, I was dog tired. I had lunch, and then I went and sat on the couch for a bit. I was thinking about taking a nap, but I didn't. I'm still buzzing from the excitement. My body is tired. It hasn't stood for 4 hours in a long time. Thankfully, I had very comfortable shoes on. But by the time I got home, I was tired. And then actually, as soon as I got home, I had like 5 minutes to get in. When I pulled in the garage, I had 5 minutes to get inside and get online, because I had a Zoom call with somebody set up. I thought it was a little later in the afternoon, but on the way home, my little ding goes off 30 minutes before the thing. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Because I was actually going to stop at the market and pick up a couple of things that I couldn't get yesterday because the delicatessen was closed. And I just had to zoom past the supermarket. Didn't even have time to go in and grab that. So I still got that. And I'm sort of like, yeah, but I really don't want to go back out again. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow on my way to pick up Zeffy. Go stop by the market, get that stuff, pick up Zeffy, and then come home and do that. But just doing things out of the ordinary, changing your routine. Maybe you do shopping, say like on a Tuesday at like 11 o'clock, like 10 o'clock in the morning or something. Try a different day. Just change it up a little bit. It's really fun. If you find you've got a day where you don't have anything planned, which is usually me on a Sunday, except tomorrow I have to go pick up Zeffy, and then I do have a call later in the afternoon. I don't typically do calls later in the afternoon, but this is somebody special that I need to talk with. So we've arranged to meet tomorrow afternoon on Zoom. But, the rest of the day, absolutely nothing planned. So do something spontaneous. Maybe we'll go try a different place. I don't know. Maybe we'll just go for a drive and see where we end up on our way. Maybe we'll take an extended tour an extended route on the way home. Instead of coming the normal route home, we'll take an extended route. Although I will have Zeph in the back of the car telling me her entire 48-hour journey adventures. And then she'll want her pup cup, because usually when I pick her up from the sitters, we stop by Dutch Brothers, and I get my double chocolate mocha freeze, and she gets her pup cup with her dog treat inside. And because it's like a 3 to 5 minute drive from our house, we just get it off the window, put it down in the cup holders, drive home, and then she gets to lay on her mat and have her pup cup while I sit back and enjoy my double chocolate mocha freeze. Yeah, so I might get some flack for that one if I decide to take a long journey home. Maybe we could find a Dutch Brothers closer and go to a park or something. Maybe it could be watching a different genre of movies. You had the books, now let's try a different movie. But think of some ways that you can shake things up a little bit. They can be planned, they can not be planned. Flying by the seat of your pants is awesome. But we haven't done a Sunday drive for a while. Sometimes we'll get in the car and we'll just go, I'll go to the end of the street, when we're in the campground, I'll get to the end of the campground and you can either go left or right. And I'll look at Zeph and go left or right, and whichever way she turned her head, that's the way we would turn. And then we'll come up to the next traffic light and it's like left, right, straight ahead. It's an interesting way to drive, and everybody gets a turn at, and if you've got the family there, well, let's go for a drive and see where we end up. And they're like, what? Well, maybe we'll go for a drive to get ice cream or something. And, you'll look up the ice cream places near to where you are after you've been driving around for a bit. But when you get to, you've got a traffic light coming up, everybody takes a turn. So the traffic light coming up, you're the driver, you decide first. Then they get to the next traffic light, and whoever's in the passenger seat gets to drive next. And at the next traffic light, the person behind the passenger gets to choose the direction. Or then the person behind the driver, you can make it so you go around the car and everybody gets to choose whether they're going to go left, right, or straight ahead at the next traffic light. It'll be interesting to see where you end up doing that sort of stuff as well. But anyway, so shake up your Saturday, shake up any day of the week where you've got some free time and you're like, we'll do something you haven't done before. Learn a new hobby. I was talking today about the focus patch, and I use that when I go and get into my study room, my little study room, and get on the laptop and learn something new. And people go, why don't you do it at your desk? Because my desk has a lot of things like this that I can fiddle with. It's got the little slinky thing here. I've got the big computer monitor with several tabs open. I kind of get distracted by that because I'll be looking along the tab. Oh, there's my mail. Let me go check I've got the Ancestry open. Let me go check on that thing on Ancestry. Or I've got I've got the DNA program open. Let me go check some more on the DNA. And then there's lots of things on my desk that I can fiddle with and play with. I go into my study room. It's a completely clear desk. I do have a pen holder on one side with a notebook next to it. I've got my laptop goes here, and it's got a little stand thing that it sits on that has fans underneath to stop it overheating. Then I have a clear desk space. And then there's a table in front of it because they both sit in the middle of the room. And then there's a bigger table right there next to it with nothing on it. So plenty of room to spread out to sit there and just learn. And when I was doing my genealogy certificate in there through one of the online things, I'd go in there and sit down on the chair and open up the laptop and get my stuff organized in there. Zeffie would come, poke her head around the corner, look at me, and just walk away. She's like, you're good. I don't need to come in and check on you. You're good. And while I was studying, she would come and pop her head back in there. But because there was nothing else, I now have a whiteboard in there too, which is on an easel. And so because she knew where I was and she was happy there, she was like, yeah, I don't need to be here. I'm going to go lay on my lazy boy. But anyway, so yes, I go in there and put that focus patch on, and that really does help me concentrate more on what I'm working on. And but yeah, I tell you, these patches are amazing. I love them. I had so much fun today. So what do you do to shake things up in your world? So let us know in the comments below what you do to shake things up in your world. Do you like to go on random trips? I still remember the time we drove down to the ferry. We got on the ferry, and the ferry in New Zealand goes from the North Island, between the North Island and the South Island. And we got on the Inter-Island, walked on at the Inter-Island ferry in Wellington. We went across to Picton, which is where it goes in the South Island. Got off the ferry, went and got burgers and fries at this hole-in-the-wall place. And it literally is a hole in the wall. There's a hole there with a garage door a roller door in front of it, and you've got maybe 2 to 3 feet till you get to the counter and you put your order in. The rest of the complex is all the kitchen area where they do all the cooking and everything else and the frying and stuff. And then and this one happened to be a really good one. And so we got our burger and fries and we walked down to the waterfront, sat down there, had a picnic there in front of the waterfront where we could watch the ferry coming in. We could watch the yachts out sailing and all of that sort of stuff. And then when we finished our dinner, walked around for a little more. Then it was time to get back on the ferry because we could see them starting to load the cars on. Because you can sit there, and we got off before everything had got off. And this is, the ferries are kind of an extension of State Highway 1, which is the main road that goes from the North Island, from the tip of the North Island all the way down to the bottom of the South Island. And the ferry is that connection in between. So trains, buses, trucks, all of this sort of stuff with freight go on the ferry, and that's how they get it between the islands. And so we would get off before everything was offloaded, and we'd be sitting on the waterfront there with our burgers and fries and eating that as they're still maybe offloading. And we know that once they start loading, you've probably got about, I don't know, 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes before the ferry's ready to go. And so, but I think we ended up with like 2 hours. It's an hour or 2 hours between when the ferry arrived to when it left again. I can't remember the exact time, but it was enough for us to have our burger and fries down by the waterfront, walk around Picton, which is this cute little town, and then go back, walk on the ferry. There was another time that we did that. We just decided to take a day off work. We took a day off work. There was about 4 of us. We took a day off work. We got on the ferry. We went across to Picton, walked on at I think it was like a 7 a.m. sailing. Went to Picton. One of the people in our group had relatives that lived in Nelson or Blenheim, Nelson. And so we got on a bus in Picton that took us to Nelson. We got off the bus in Nelson. We then walked to their house, which was, it was a distance to walk because it was outside the town. And went and visited them, and they had this winery. There's vineyards and stuff there. And so we went and visited with them. They grew the grapes and sold them to the wineries. And so we spent some time with them, had lunch with them, and then they drove us back to Picton. And then we got on the next, and we were there basically the entire day. We got on, had dinner on the ferry on the way home, and it was just a spontaneous thing we decided to do. It was a great day out. So yeah, you can do things like that. Pop down, have a look for airfare, go look for airfares online and see if you can find a cheap airfare, and fly to a different town or a city, fly to a different city for a day, fly in first thing in the morning, fly out in the evening, and, you could have some fun. Just go do something different. It's just breaking the cycle of everything. It's just breaking those routines that can help you reset the brain. It can help you be more creative. There's a lot of benefits to breaking the routines. And sometimes when you break the routines, opportunities suddenly appear because now you're open to them without realizing it. So anyway, let us know what you do to break up your routines when you decide to shake things up a little bit. So let's go out, shake it up a little more. I'm out of here. Go out and have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hey, konera.